starting an agency during COVID was probably the hardest thing because you had to staffing issue. You had to literally beg staff to cover shifts. There were times where I was at a certain location for a week, and just to make sure that we were not just sending any random people to work with our individuals. So we during COVID it was really difficult, and it forced us to really do things right from the beginning.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this brand new installment of the Nick Speaks podcast, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud. Thank you guys for joining me on this Tuesday. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I've got an amazing guest as always, and he's very special to me. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But before I do, I want to give you a little bit of show notes. Most of you should know by now, I came out with a book back on April 30th, 2025, with a group of authors, 12 of us all together. It's called Trailblazing and Transforming Entrepreneurial Stories of People with Disabilities. My chapter is Chapter 5, Breaking the Mold. I encourage you to get it, and you can go on Amazon and get it on your Kindle device, or you can get it in paperback. And like I say every week, we are working on an audio version. I will try to let you guys know when that is coming out, but we are working on it. I need to get with the editor and figure out what's going on with that. But please check out my book, Trailblazing and Transforming Entrepreneurial Stories of People with Disabilities. And also, if you want to be on the program, please email me at nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. And if you're not following me on any of my platforms, my TikTok, Apple, Spotify, my YouTube channel, please do that and make sure to give Nick Speaks a 5-star rating on your podcast platform. That would greatly help us out a lot. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest. You guys, this is the first time that I have ever had my primary caregiver on any of the programs that I've done, any of my YouTube channel, any of my TikToks. And I'm so excited because I joined this guy and his company back in August of last year, and they truly have rekindled my life. And we'll talk about that and so much more in this interview. Please welcome my primary caregiver, Deritus. This is going to be so much fun. Deritus, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
You've always wanted to be on a podcast?
Nope.
Well, this is your first one, inaugural.
I am excited.
That's awesome. So I am so excited that you're here with me today. You're actually working with me right now, but you had to go in a separate area to tape the show because we do it through Zoom. So I am so glad that you're here. We've been trying to do this for a couple months. And so, Deritus, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the field, and then I'll just jump into some questions for you and we'll have a good time.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so obviously my name is Deritus. I've been in this field since 2016, and I started off when I was in college. I know when I was in college, been like every other broke college student, I wanted to get a job. And my first job was with a well-known company. So I was working night shift, and then during the day, I would pick up some hours when I was in at school. So from there, I just really fell in love with it. After college, I went to my major in college was criminal justice. So after college, my goal was to go into the FBI, but I just fell in love with the job, and I just was like, you know what, this is, I feel happy. I feel like I'm helping people achieve their goals, be more independent. So I feel like that probably was the best thing for me at the moment until today. I don't regret not pursuing the FBI or the law enforcement career. And By the way, I mean, people tell me I'm too nice, so I don't think that I would have been a good FBI agent or good police officer anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of got to be a bulldog in the FBI and a little bit of a pit bull, and I don't get that personality from you at all. So, you're perfect for caregiving. So you've been in it since 2016. How many years is that? It's almost a decade, isn't it?
So that's almost 8 years.
Okay. So
So,
you were with a well-known company, and then I think this is so fantastic about your company. Your company is called Rekindle Living, which is the company that I'm with. And if you guys listened at the top of the show, I said that you guys had rekindled my life, and that is the name of their company, Rekindle Living. And what I think is so fantastic is you guys opened the doors of Rekindle Living during the pandemic. Can you tell me about that process and what inspired that?
yeah, I mean, I worked as also when I left college, picked up another, I got promoted to a program manager. So from there, I was able to kind of be in a leadership role, kind of seeing how certain companies were running their company, their agencies, certain things that they could improve. So when I joined Rekindle Living, really, I met with the co-owner. You know, we sat down and just kind of thought of what we can do to better make a company, better company per se. What we can do, some of the challenges that some of our individuals were facing, especially during COVID. And I think for me, during COVID, starting an agency during COVID was probably the hardest thing because you had to
Yep.
staffing issue. You had to literally beg staff to cover shifts. There were times where I was at a certain location for a week, and
Yeah.
just to make sure that we were not just sending any random people to work with our individuals. So we during COVID it was really difficult, and it forced us to really do things right from the beginning. So making sure that our policies were in place, we were training our staff correctly, we were listening to our individuals, and just making sure that again we were not just sending random staff to work with them. We wanted to make sure that the staff that we sent there were going to get along with the individuals, and the individuals were going to be happy with the services that they were providing. And we have a slogan from the beginning. It's called Personalized Approach to Independence. And for us, that really means that every individuals that we serve, to them, everybody has a different way of seeing what independent looks like to them. When I first started working with Nick, his independence was being able to go out when he wanted to, being
Yep.
able to go to McDonald's, go to Taco Bell, so all his favorite restaurants, going just random places, or even just to
Yep.
go out for a ride. To him, that meant that if he was doing those things, he had his independence and he was in control. So for us, we like to tailor everything to specific to the individual that we are working with, and
Yeah.
just kind of
No, go ahead. Just kind of.
yeah, and just kind of go from there and make sure the service that we are providing are actually helping them become as independent as possible.
Can you say your slogan again for me? It was kind
Yeah,
of fast when you said it.
yeah, personalized approach to independence.
Personal life approach for independence.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And really, I love your name. Whoever came up with your name is incredible. I love Rekindle Living because I came to you guys at a time where I really needed my life rekindled. I was not, you were here the first day. I was not taking a shower. I was not able to get out. The caregiver that I had, him and I were good friends, best of friends, but we came to a point where we decided together that we were better off friends instead of caregiver and client. And sometimes that happens. And when I tell you, you talk about the simple things. When I tell you my favorite thing to do every day is take a shower, that's just top tier for me. I mean, whether it's in the morning or late afternoon, because sometimes I'm a late sleeper depending on my schedule, which is another great thing too. You guys don't, and not that any of my other caregivers really did. I mean, when I was here in Columbus, we had COVID, so we really couldn't go anywhere. But you guys don't push that. You're just like, Nick, it's your schedule. Do whatever you want. Go wherever you want. Just let us know. We will make it work. You guys, Deritus is over my direct apartment. So he's over the staff that works with me here. And he has never told me, I said, he's never told me no. And I've brought up to him several ideas of things that I want to do. And one of the things that I appreciate about you is that you've never said no. You've always said, let's figure it out. And I love that trait about you is it's never no, it's let's figure it out. And so what are some of the things that you've seen in your 8 years that just have frustrated you, that you said, when it comes to Rekindle, when it comes to my clients that I work with, this is not happening?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a lot of things. I mean, one of the most important things is when we work with you, our goal is not to come and dictate your life. Our goal is not to come there and have you work around our schedule. When we train our staff, we like to say, yeah, if the staff is there for 8 hours, for that 8 hours, I mean, you are the leader. And this is something that I've always encouraged you to do. I mean, when you are there with staff, you are the leader. You just have the staff follow your lead. So it's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things I've seen where, I mean, the staff goes to the home, previous company, they go to the home, then the individual have to kind of compromise certain things that they want to do, maybe because the staff are not willing to do it or they don't want to do it for whatever reason. So when we train our staff, we make sure those things, we get a schedule. We like to know what the individual like to do. We like to know what they don't like to do, so that when we send staff there, they are really focused on the individual. They are going by the plan of the individual. Let's say, for example, there are times where I go to Nick's house, like, hey, what do you got planned today? Like, probably I don't have anything. Like, yeah, we have to get out the house because I know those are things that Nick's enjoy. So we try to, get those things, get you guys involved, and again, for staff, making sure that, yeah, we are also being creative on things that you guys want to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we're planning to go out today after this taping, and I'm looking forward to it. And sometimes, guys, it's just as simple as taking your client out for a drive. Let's go drive for an hour and a half. We've done that several times just here in downtown Columbus. And I want to brag on Rekindle a little bit, because you guys are an award-winning agency for certain things in certain counties. Tell us about that, because I think you're a rock star anyway, but I want you to brag on yourself.
So we got the thing last year and the year before that at the Lifetime of Giving Award in Delaware County, and it just really goes to the outstanding DSP. So we try to. It's a team effort. I mean, it's not a. I don't think it's not a one person thing per se, but it's just kind of like a team effort.
Yeah, and he's being modest, but he's the one that accepted the award, and he's the one that got it. He's being too modest over here, being like, it's not about me.
Yeah, I say it because, I mean, our team is so important because we are a team. So with one of those things is like, I mean, we have to make sure that we are picking each other up. If we have a certain staff that might not be doing what they are supposed to be doing, I mean, my goal is to come in, train them. If they need additional training, train them, because most of the time, what I've noticed as a manager is that sometimes staff might not do the right thing, or they might not do what they are supposed to do because of lack of training. So I've picked phone calls late at night for simple questions, and I always make myself available for our staff to make sure that, they can call me at any time. Nick literally takes that. Nick will call me at any time. That's for sure.
And you know what the thing is? That's true. Now, I don't call him at any time for, like random stuff. I don't call him for stuff that I know we can talk about tomorrow. But
Yeah.
you know what's so interesting is that we've been together. It'll be a year in August, and I'll call him and he'll be like, "Nick, I know why you're calling. I'm on my way." And it's annoying at one area because it's like, damn, it's like I just pick up the phone. I know you know why, but just pick up the phone. I want to know that you know why. And then he knows me so well. In fact, we were in the car the other day going somewhere, and he was on the phone with somebody, and he was like, "Let me get off the phone. Nick's getting jealous." And I was like, "Shut up, bro!" Like, and then I was like, "No, I'm not. You're fired." And then I came back to him and I was like, "You know what? You're right." I was a little bit jealous. I ain't gonna lie. I love my Darius time. So, anybody who tries to steal that away, I don't really take well to it. But no, he's a house manager, so he's got to do what he's got to do. But what is something that you wish, if you had the power, if they came to you, the powers that be, and said, "You know what, we want to implement a change and we want you to be a part of that." What is something that you would change in the system, or maybe just if you had a magic wand and could wave it, like what would you change? Because I know there's a lot.
Yeah, this there's a lot of things, and I have to kind of be. There's a lot of things in my mind I have to kind of not say, but you know, that for me, I think that having more resources for individuals that we serve, I definitely think we need more resources in terms of the one of the things that I really like that just recently started happening are like those changing tables in restrooms. That is amazing because as
Yeah.
a caregiver, there are times where certain things we can't do certain things because we don't have the resources. I remember there was things last year. I took one of my individuals to go see Usher in Philadelphia, and we got to the hotel and we requested a accessible hotel. And when we got there, we did not have one. And it was just a nightmare to kind of make sure our individual that he was clean, he had his personal care, and just the lack of resources. And for businesses to be able to understand that, yeah, a lot of people that are sorry, a lot of people that have disabilities, they just want to enjoy the same things that people like me want to enjoy. They want to go out, they want to be able to do just the same thing. And a lot of businesses, they just need to be mindful and try to make their facility or make their business as accessible as possible.
Yeah, and those changing tables are changing. I've had Tim Kirkwood on the program, and those changing tables have really changed the life of people with disabilities. And you're right. And when you talk about accessibility for hotel rooms, you can tell that it's not. I love the fact that you brought up travel. You can tell that it's not thought of by somebody who either has a relative with a disability or either someone who is disabled, because what we would need, and tell me if I'm right, what we would need is accessible changing tables. We would need track lifts or access to a Hoyer lift. That's the biggest thing when people with disabilities travel, especially if you're in a wheelchair like myself. We need access to safe Hoyer lifts, track lifts, big enough rooms. If you're going to use a manual lift, we need a bed that the lift is going to go under. And so, yeah, I love that you brought up travel as something that you would change. And as you just said, guys, Deritus and other staff take individuals places, go see Usher. I was able to go be a friend to my friend whose dad passed away and go to the funeral. I found out on a Monday that my dad's best friend passed away, and we were there on a Friday, and Deritus didn't even think about it. He was like, "You have to be here." And I would say, wouldn't you? It's not about the staff's program, it's about that program for that individual and having them work that program.
Absolutely.
And realize that they're there for that person.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And one of my favorite things, and it's just kind of the more you do it, the more you want to do more. It's just kind of being able to try different experiences with people that have never done certain things before. Like with Nick being able to go out of town. Ever since he moved to Ohio, he hasn't been back to Indiana. That was probably one of my favorite things to do with Nick so far, that I've done with Nick so far. Just the car ride. I mean, we was having a conversation. You could tell he was really happy. He was excited for it. We got there. He was really excited being able to see a childhood friend that he hasn't seen in I don't know how long. So those little things like that. I mean, for me as a DSP, it's special. It's more than any pay that anybody can give me because you get instant gratitude. And when we first started working with Nick, he said, this morning I was helping him with the shower. I was just joking. I remember the first day we helping you, like when we started working with you, the first shower that we did. I mean, it's just something so basic that for people with disabilities, it's a life-changing experience. And these are things that with us as people that are able to do everything on our own, we take it for granted. And I really encourage our staff to make sure, yeah, those little things are what matter the most.
Yep. What would you say? And I know we've talked about it a lot, and I want to go into this. What would you say is your biggest hurdle when it comes to hiring staff?
It's always the what I've noticed is always the pay. And then also another thing is we have a lot of staff that they get hired and they'll tell you they don't want to do personal care. And that's usually those are usually the two things that I see the most. And then also there and I told Nick, this field is not for everybody. It's not for you. Have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. When you go out with somebody, you need to realize that just shut down whatever, because sometimes people might you go out with somebody with disability, you have to help them with certain things. People, yeah, there are times where people stare. And I've encouraged our staff, yeah, ignore that. Don't pay attention to that, because for that 8 hours that you are there, the only person that you really need to pay attention to is that person that is sitting there with you, the person that you are clocking in, because you want to make sure that the 8 hours they are with you, they are having fun. You guys are talking, you guys are laughing, you guys are having fun. And that's almost have fun.
Yeah, it is. And the pay is a big issue, although I worked on it personally here in Ohio through Bridge to Equality. And I had another guest that was on the program a while back, and he said, Nick, if you give them 20, they're going to want 25. If you give them 25, they're going to want 30. And you have to come to this job loving it. I told you this morning as we were getting ready, I say this all the time. This job is not just a job, it is a calling. And if you're not called to do it, you're going to struggle every day. And you say, well, how do I know if I'm called? All I can tell you is that you'll know.
Oh, yeah.
You'll know.
Absolutely. Yep. I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
You will know. I mean, I can try to give you some signs if you don't flinch, because If you don't flinch because somebody throws food at you or threatens to punch you, then you're called. Or if you don't flinch because you have to do personal care, you're called. And I want to go back to the second issue that you said, which was you get people who say they don't want to do personal care. And that really bothers me. And I'll tell you why. Because unless somebody is instantly killed, taken out of here, I personally believe that everybody is going to leave this world with some type of disability when at the end of their life or in the middle of their life or for the rest of their life, they're going to need some personal care. What if that person who is rejecting the personal care of another ends up needing personal care? And then what if they get rejected because the person that's supposed to take care of them needs personal care? Ew, I don't want to do that. Or you can't pay me enough money. Then what are we going to do? The people that are being rejected, the people that are rejecting personal care right now are going to be the exact same people that need personal care in a few years.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that?
Absolutely. And and with that, I mean, we try to always, before I send a staff to a certain house, I usually like to work there and really see what it entails, what the staff will have to do. And sometimes I'd rather the staff be upfront with me about certain things like that, and then for me to train the staff and they go to the home. And when it comes time to do it themselves, they don't know how to do it, or they make the individual feel uncomfortable, because that is a lot of people in those situations, man, they don't want to be in it. Nobody wants to a random person to be coming and doing personal care. If it was up to them, they would not want you there to do those things. They would be able to do it themselves if it was up to them. So it really, I try to make sure, again, if you are gonna do it 100%. If you are not gonna do it. So that's why when staff tell me, "Oh yeah, I don't want the personal care," like, "Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to. I'm not gonna put you there. I don't have anything available that you don't have to do personal care, and that's fine with me."
Yeah, I mean, it's fine with you because you're a nice guy, which is the reason you're not in the FBI. But it's one of those things that makes it harder for you as a manager because then you still have to figure out staffing. Well, this person doesn't want to do it, and that person doesn't want to do it. And I want to hit on something else too. You and I are in Columbus, and we have a high percentage of people who are from other countries. And I tell folks all the time on my TikTok and on this platform that 100% of my staff is from another country. And the reason being is because the Americans just don't want to do the work. What kind of struggles have you ran into with that?
I mean, those are kind of the same, and you kind of just said it all. I mean, that's all. Yeah, a lot of people, they don't want to do the job, and I mean, it's yeah, a
But
lot
what
of people. Yeah, a lot. This a lot of people that are foreigners that are. They feel comfortable doing it, because one thing that I've kind of realized coming from a different country is that growing up, we have a different way how we are raised. Because back in Africa or in other countries per se, we don't have nursing homes. Your family members, if your family member get older, they stay with the family. They don't get sent to a nursing home. So growing up, a lot of people have that. They are kind of trained to take care of their grandmothers, their grandfathers, their relatives, somebody that is sick. So, but in America, I mean, if somebody's sick, they get sent to a nursing home. Somebody gets older, they get sent to a nursing home. So a lot of people don't get to experience that caring, being able to care for somebody. So for us, coming from a different country, I kind of feel like those things just come naturally to us, because that's what we grow up. We grew.
you grew up taking care of, regardless
Yeah,
of whether or not they needed personal care or not.
Yeah, it's just a natural thing. I mean, it's unheard of to have somebody go to a nursing home in different countries from what I've experienced. Because I mean, growing up, I mean, in America, I mean, growing up here, our grandmothers, they lived with us. So if they needed help with something, we were there to help them. Even still now, my grandmother, she still lives with my mom. So every day, if there's a problem, I get called if she needs help with something. If she gets a new medication from the pharmacy, they need help kind of making sure she takes it right. Yeah, they give me a call. And if I'm available, I can go there and kind of help her with that process.
Yeah. So it's a culture thing between
Yes.
American and other. All my staff is from Cameroon, and I've had staff from Cameroon, I've had staff from Ghana, I've had staff from Nigeria, and they all say the same thing. It's all about the culture thing and being there for your fellow man. And
Yep.
um in America and Americans, I feel like it's, just give me a paycheck. And I say this all the time, and feel free to jump in anytime. I say this all the time. If you're just doing this job for a paycheck, please go find something else to do.
You would not last long if you were just doing it for a paycheck because you will be tested. Your patience will be tested. And if you are not doing it because you love it, that's where you see a lot of people quit. I mean, when I was a program manager, I used to, I mean, they will have new staff, new hires, they will come in. I mean, a lot of people after 2 days or 3 days, oh yeah, they block you. Somebody I used to always joke around, yeah. Somebody quit if you text them or you call them and it doesn't go through. Just know, yeah, they are done. And
Or
this
if
whole
they have
thing,
an iPhone and then all of a sudden it turns
yeah, it's
15 to
yeah. So just know they are done. They quit. So it's just you have to love it. You have to love it. I mean, I always encourage our staff. And then part of the reason why we really don't want to grow as much because again, I really feel like there's a limited amount of good staff out there. And maybe there's more training that needs to be done on the provider end. Maybe there's something that we need to do as a provider to encourage more people to come into the field. But if you are lucky, you find really good staff. There are some amazing staff out there. There are some amazing people. I've come across some amazing staff that, they really enjoy what they do. And you can tell that from the individuals, they are happy.
Well, I'm certainly talking to one of them right now, one of the most amazing staff that I've had the privilege to work with. You know,
Appreciate
yeah, one of the things that's frustrating to me is I get caregivers that come work with me and they'll say, well, I'll do this, but I'm not going to do that. And I've never seen a field like that. Usually, in most jobs, if you go to your boss and you say, I'm comfortable doing this part of the job, but not this part of the job, you're going to end up leaving. I don't understand why that is so free in the caregiving field. Do you think it's because people need help and the pay's not what it should be? Or is it a more
I
relaxed atmosphere?
Yeah, I think, I mean, that was the case during COVID. I mean, there were a lot of people that, I mean, they were just a shortage of staffing. So whatever providers could get, a lot of providers would just say, okay, whatever we can get, we would just kind of hopefully it works out. So, it is, I think that it's difficult. Yeah. That's really difficult to kind of pinpoint what exactly is causing it. But one thing I've experienced is definitely, I think probably definitely maybe the pay is an issue. And then also another thing could be, yeah, that's really the passion not being there.
Not having the passion because
Yeah.
it's important to have it. Yeah.
Because we had this conversation the morning I was telling me, and this when I work with you, and I was kind of giving you like an example. Man, the day goes by quick. Days
Yeah.
go by quick. And sometimes in the morning, like me and my wife would joke around, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, seems like you are ready to go to work." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready because I really get to go have fun." And that's what you really want to do. And if you have a staff that is really doesn't feel the same way, where they feel like, oh, if I go to work, I'm going to work to have fun. I'm going to work to make sure we are having fun. Man, it's going to they won't enjoy it, and then it won't last.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I've had staff members that literally, not from, well, some from your company, and we worked on those issues and still
Mm.
continuing to. But I mean, I had a former staff, I had a roommate one time. We both agreed one Saturday that we wanted to go to the mall, and the staff was just like, "Well, there's no parking at the mall." There's no parking, so we can't go to the mall, but we can go to Walmart.
Walmart. And it's just one of those things that when you hear certain things like that, you get frustrated because I'm like, I can guarantee you that if if the staff wanted to go to the mall for whatever reason, they would have find a way to
They'll
make
find
it
a
work.
way.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of things that a lot of things that they can do. You have to be creative.
And honestly, I mean, what other job do you get paid to go to the mall and to go shopping and to go out to eat and to go to the movies? There's not another job that you get paid to do that.
Yeah, it's none. It's none.
Yeah, and so I don't understand some staffing scenarios sometimes where they're like, I'd rather be here in the house than sit on my phone.
So for you, if you could change anything, so that would kind of be to hear your perspective, also for the audience, you had to change something. What would you change?
For me, if I ran a home healthcare agency, or if I could just
Um,
wave a magic wand and do it, it would be getting rid of the staff cell phones for that shift. And it's interesting because they're even doing that in schools this year.
yeah.
They're telling students you can't have your phone for the 8 hours that you're here. And they're even
Mhm.
telling teachers that. So why can't we figure out a way for caregiving agencies to do that? Well, I've got to check on my kids. I've got to check on my family. You don't think the teachers at that school have the same fears and complaints? And I'm sure they'll figure it out, but I guarantee you, I mean, there's not going to be a mass exodus, like if I can't use my phone, I'm not going to work. And so that would be something that I would change if I could, If every agency, okay, you want to use a phone, we'll give you a work phone. Use this for work purposes only, not to sit on your phone and text for 3 hours and ignore your client while they're in the other room,
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that a lot of people, when we do we usually we hire a new staff. Those are things that we go over at our initial training. Yeah, a lot of this a page just focus on the cell phone usage on certain things like that. It's one of those things that it's an ongoing thing that we have to just keep continuing to train staff, continue to encourage staff not to be on their cell phones when they are working with a client.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've said before, if I'm in my room working on a podcast or on a pre-call or in another meeting, that's fine. But I don't want staff to be on the phone in the middle of a brief change, which I've had in times past, and it's just so it's disrespectful, especially if you're on the phone with somebody during somebody else's personal care. I mean, it just brings the whole disrespect. to another level because you're violating that client's privacy. And so, we talked about the overwhelming foreign presence that's here in Columbus as far as like staff members and stuff. So what do you do? What do you say to people? Because I'm sure they're out there. Say to people, they say, I don't want anybody from another country. Like how do you? Because I'm sure you do get those.
Yeah, we if that's the case, then we will find a staff that they are able to work with. Usually, most of the time, if they say they don't want a staff that's from a different country, one of the biggest issues always being able to communicate the language barrier. So, which is very important because again, working with somebody, you need to be able to understand what they are saying. The individual needs to be able to understand the staff. Most importantly, the staff needs to be able to understand the individual needs. So
The person they're working with.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So we make sure that again, if the staff is not able to communicate English effectively, we don't put them. I mean, we don't hire them. They need to be able to understand English because again, for us, the majority, I mean, all of us, all of our individuals, they all speak English. So that is one of their requirements, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something that is difficult. I've encouraged the state of Ohio, if you're gonna hire people that are from another country, that's fine. I've worked with some amazing staff from other countries, but in order for them to get acclimated and do the job appropriately, you might want to start doing some culture training, like getting them around a lot of American food, training them what that is, training them how to make it. Dear God, you know.
Which is that's a good idea. I mean, that's a really good idea. To be able to have some sort of curriculum in there that is just focused on those things, like then that'll be very helpful, especially for new hires that have never been in this field since their first time working as DSPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been in this field for 8 years. What do you see for yourself for the future? Do you see yourself going any higher? You're definitely not leaving me, I'll tell you that right now.
I really love what I do. And but I really because it this allows me to be able to go into homework. Again, every site that I'm responsible for, at least once a week, I'm working in the home one-on-one with the individual. And this is one of the only positions that will allow me to do those things and not get too with, I mean, but not too overworked with the paperwork side of it. But no, this allows me to be able to just enough of the paperwork, but still a one-on-one, being able to work one-on-one with the individuals. So this is probably where I think I want to go because it's great. I love it.
What do you say to people who say there's no way you could make a career out of this? What do you
You can. You can. I mean, you can. It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. You just have to, I mean, you love it enough. I mean, you do certain things enough. I mean, you still, and a lot of people just feel, I know a lot of people in this field that they have more than one job. They work for different, I mean, I know certain people that they might even work for 3 different companies. So yeah, you can make it a career.
Yeah.
And trust me, I mean, the longer you're in it, the more difficult it becomes for you to get out of. Because you just develop certain relationships with certain people that you like, you know what? I don't see myself going anywhere. Trust me, there are times where Nick can get on my nerves, but
Okay, well that's the end of the show, everybody.
so now we get to the good part. It's still, I mean, there are times where, yeah, he gets frustrated with me. And really for me, I have to really understand. And we have had several, a couple incidents where, Nick calls me like, there, I don't like this. I'm frustrated with you on this. And I'm like, yeah. And sometimes I just listen like, yeah, okay, I get it. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to fix so this doesn't happen again? And we'll sit down, we'll come up with a solution, and we will be able to work it out. And like we were briefly, Kyle, we kind of went over the being available for phone calls. One of the most frustrating things that I had as a DSP was the lack of communication from either my supervisors at certain times. They didn't want you to call them at certain times. And for me, I make my phone lines are always open because I want to make sure that if anybody ever have a question, if a DSP have a question, if Nick has a question or any other individual that I'm working with, if they have a question, yeah, they know if they call me, I will pick up the phone and I will, if I don't have answers to it, like sometimes I don't have answers to it, I'll tell Nick, hey, this might be a question for the service coordinator, or this might be questions for maybe call DODD. They'll be able to answer those questions,
Yeah. And that's happened very rarely because you have made it your mission to make my life as comfortable and as great as possible. And if the rest of the caregivers out there that are listening today can do what Deritus has done for me and what he's doing for several other people, is making their life as comfortable as possible, and realize that, like Darius said earlier, keep your drama out the door. Your job is to have your client have the best day of their life. And if that's not your end goal at the end of every day, then you need to find something else. And I can't tell you guys how much working with my guest today has been such a blessing, because he's been such a blessing to me. And we'll take care of whatever you need. And we're in the midst of doing some staff adjusting right now. And he's been here working some extra hours, which I love, because he and I just get each other. And you know what? Don't be afraid to go on road trips with your clients. Deritus and I went on a road trip in March to my best friend's dad's funeral, and we found the best donuts in Lima, Ohio. Talk about those.
We gotta gatekeep that place.
Now he wants to gatekeep it. I think you're right. I think we should. We did. We found the best donuts in Lima, Ohio, and that's all I'm gonna say. Little things like that. I went with one of my staffers to the peach cobbler factory. It was meh, but taking trips like that, taking me to see my family. It's not about going to see the people. A lot of times it's just the road trip. I have really enjoyed road trips with you.
If you want to, and I tell our staff last time, if you want to really know the individual you are working with, if there are people that they like to talk, if they like to talk, take them for a ride. You wouldn't get to know them like you have never before. Take them for a ride. Maybe just turn off the music. If they like music, yeah, you guys can play music. But if they don't like music, just shut up the music. You guys just talk. You will learn a lot about them, and they will also learn a lot about you.
Yeah. Well, one of Deritus's favorite things to listen to, which has become my favorite because he's been a crush on of mine forever. Jason Lee, Hollywood Unlocked, or Jason Unlocked. I don't know what it is, but Jason, you're my boy. I love you. Deritus will come in here and we'll do personal care. Or I'll be in the shower and he'll have it playing, and I'm just like, what's Jason talking about today? And I'll just be like, oh, Jason, my man. Because yeah, he's my man. Him and John Stamos. Anyway, but what are some final pieces of advice, Deritus, that you would give either someone new coming in or maybe someone that's done it for 10 years and they're a little burnt out?
is, I would say, if somebody's new in the field, I would just say one of the most important things is think of if their roles were reversed. And then with somebody that is burnt out, again, look at that person that you are working with. How do they feel when you get there? How do they look? Are they happy when you get there? And if you can answer those simple questions, I mean, it will tell you if you are doing the right thing or not. And again,
Yeah.
there are some people that they are not able to verbalize certain things, but I mean, you can tell when somebody's happy. Happiness is not a happiness is universal. So you'll be able to tell somebody's happy, even if they are nonverbals. You'll be able to tell. I used to have a guy that when he was happy, he would come pinch you. You guys would be doing something, he would pinch you. And it's just like those little things. At first, it's like you don't understand it, but again, when you start to work with somebody, and again, we have been taught that if somebody's nonverbal and they are having what we would consider behavior, we all have behaviors. I mean, some people, that's how they communicate, being able to do, certain things that for us is called behaviors. That's just a way of communicating, you know. Yep, just like Nick.
I don't have no behavior. What are you talking about? Just give me some Taco Bell, okay? Or
Yep, Nick is hungry. Nick is hungry. He's very moody when he's hungry. Again, that's all of us, but it's
am I
I'll get
really?
there. Yeah. I'll
Wow.
get I'll get there like, hey, what's up, Nick? It's like, hey, nothing much. And that's right. When he's in a good mood, or you get there, oh yeah, he's gonna whatever he was doing, he's gonna drop it, come give you a handshake or give you a hug, and like, yeah, Nick is in a good mood today.
Um, yeah, I don't do handshakes. I do hugs, which, you know, I mean, to be honest with you guys, this guy right here, Deritus, he's no longer my caregiver after a year. He's my brother. And I ended up in the hospital within the first few weeks of us working together, and he was just spot on with everything that I needed. I had speaking engagements the first few weeks that we were together. Nick, I'll be there for you. We'll get you there, And we're planning on to do more of that. And he's just, is there such a thing as a perfect caregiver? No, they're going to have flaws. But I can say this, everything that Deritus and Rekindle have said they are going to do for me, they have done. I have transportation whenever I need it. Deritus comes and cooks for me. By the way, makes a mean lasagna. I mean, just incredible. If you're ever in my area and you say I want lasagna, I'm calling Deritus.
We need to come up with like some sort of cookbook.
We do. But right now, your lasagna is the only thing I'm. No, that's not true. I've tried your baked beans. Baked beans were the bomb. Yes. And this is what it is. When you become a caregiver, if you're worth your salt, your clients that you're caring for become your family. And I know they say all the time, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Listen, the first time you take my clothes off and wipe my butt, we don't have any more boundaries. So, enjoy the journey. And are you going to get stressed out? Yes. Come back to podcasts like this where Deritus is encouraging you and my other guests are encouraging you to keep going. And if you're a caregiver that's burnt out, email me. I would love to talk with you and talk about what you're going through and see how I can help you as a client. I'm not the be all end all. I don't know everything. I would like to think that I do, but hey, man, if you're burnt out, I hope this interview has given you some hope today of, yeah. So he comes on and says, I'm a pain. Yeah, that's pretty much the truth. I'm a pig. So what else? What else? Since we're telling the truth today, what else is interesting about me?
Yeah, again, I've always told you, I appreciate the advocacy that you do, the individuals and with disability. Man, you speak up for people that are not, that they are scared. Because again, I believe that there's probably a lot of individual in the same situation that you were in, but they don't have the ability to speak up and advocate for themselves like you were able to. So, to that, just keep going. Don't stop. You are gonna go through some obstacles and down the road, but you motivate me to be able to do more.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And it's one of the reasons it's the reason I do this podcast and I have guests like you on. Well, hey guys, listen, if you're a caregiver like Deritus, he's actually kind of the first caregiver I've had on, especially the first caregiver that I've had on that's worked with me and is working with me. Listen, reach out to me. I would love to hear your perspectives. nickspeaksofficial@gmail.com. Reach out to me. Make sure you get the book, Trailblazing and Transforming Entrepreneurial Stories of People with Disabilities. Deritus, you rock, man. You really do.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it.
You rock. You dude, man. Deritus is no longer taking any more clients, especially if they take away from me. So don't even think about it. Because he can't take away from my Saturday time, especially. I get very irritated if he takes away from my Saturday time. So, yeah, because we like to go drive around, and I'm trying to get him to go to the casino with me, but we'll see.
That's
And other places we can't really talk about on here. Anyway, but thanks for being here with me, man. It's been awesome.
Absolutely, man. Go get some ice cream. I'm hungry.
Yes, let's go get some ice cream. You guys, this is the Nick Speaks podcast, the podcast dedicated to the disabled community where we speak up, speak out, and speak loud about the issues that matter to the disabled the most. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Bye. See ya.